here's the biggest news for today, John, because this is what, again, the wagons are circling. Folks are saying he's doubling down. A lot of the hesitations have been stamped out. My feeling is maybe they're giving him space to do the right thing, and in a couple weeks we'll hear more clamors. But for right now, and especially interestingly, from the progressive wing of the Democratic Party, like Bernie Sanders and AOC, they support their guy, question mark, Joe Biden. Take a look at what AOC said yesterday.
Has spoken to the president over the weekend. I have spoken with him extensively. He made clear then, and he has made clear since, that he is in this race. The matter is closed. He had reiterated that this morning. He has reiterated that to the public. Joe Biden is our nominee. He is not leaving this race. He is in this race, and I support him. Now, what I think is critically important right now is that we focus on what it takes to win in November, because he is running against Donald Trump, who is a man with 34 felony convictions that has committed 34 felony crimes, and not a single Republican has asked for Donald Trump to not be the nominee. I'm here to win on this democracy. I'm here to win in November. And what's critically important is what I believe that the president needs to do, and I have communicated this, what the president and the White House should do in order to make sure that we win in November. And that is making sure that we pivot and working and increasingly commit to the issues that are critically important to working people across this country. How are we going to expand Medicare? How are we going to expand Social Security? How are we going to provide relief to people's rent and mortgages? And if we can do that and continue our work on student loans, secure a ceasefire, and bring those dollars back into investing in public policy, then that's how we win in November. That's what I'm committed to, and that's what I want to make sure that we secure.
What do you say to him?
Okay, John, question. What's more unlikely? Joe Biden dropping out of the race and just giving this race just a boost of fucking adrenaline that it needs to put another centrist in, or the Democratic Party selling the American people on their policy platform on lowering the interest rates that are still hella high, on a ceasefire. John, I hear a ceasefire is right around the corner. Surely by November, there will be a ceasefire. I think Netanyahu will totally be into it. All we got to do is sell the American people on this policy. John Iadarola, I swear to God, I've been on Piers fucking Morgan, and it's on me to sell what Biden has done. I am terrified. The Democrats have terrible messengers. It is so beyond, it's harder for them to sell their message than it is to just fucking put in another centrist. I just answered my own question, but you please.
You did. Yeah, look, it shouldn't be on us, okay? And we can't rely on them to do it. Biden can't sell his message. Like, you team up with a question about, Roe v. Wade being killed, and he absolutely bungles it, and somehow Trump wins. So he's a terrible messenger. I agree with you. Also, it's not always an easy message to sell. Like, right. The economy is improving, but it's still not good enough is difficult. You know what's easy?
Guatemalans are coming across the border to rape your kids.
That's much easier to sell than any of the stuff we talk about, let alone what Biden would talk about. So look, this is an asymmetric battlefield. I will grant you that.
Yeah.
But it would just be, and it's not impossible for Biden to win. It's just unlikely. Yeah. And maybe the replacement would have a lower chance. We could roll the dice and it could shake out that way. But I think it's a much better chance, and I would be willing to roll the dice, because this started off bad for Biden, and it's gotten worse every month, even with really bad news for the Republicans, with his criminal convictions, and with all of that. That has not helped Joe Biden. And so it is becoming increasingly difficult to come up with even hypotheticals that would help him to stabilize, let alone come into the dominant position he needs to be in.
Yeah, and I'll just lastly say, I think it's really also so disingenuous when people say, oh, this is not a beauty contest. Won't play the clip, but Bernie Sanders basically saying this is not a popularity contest. This is, the president of the United States. It's of course a popularity contest. Sadly, we don't have the popular vote. But since when has the president of the United States been like, no, I really like his policy on that. And we're going to talk about policy with David in 2 seconds, which is important. But Of course it's a dog and pony show. It's a general fucking election. It is super about like who you want to have a beer with, who you do think is like kind of a rock star. It's all of that bullshit that we've criticized all the time. It's the reason people are like, I mean, it's not the reason that Bernie Sanders didn't win. He didn't win because his platform, you know, was way too much of an affront to capitalism. But, you know, it's like, yeah, it's just wild to me. I don't even know, John. I don't even know anymore.
The Bernie and AOC stuff, I have a lot of thoughts that I've said about them, but I will say, seeing them come out and say that,
yes,
there's several reads that you can have of that, but my read was they are utterly convinced he will not step down under any conditions. And so what are we left with but to try to do the best we can? And as a result of that, because look, I'm not saying I have absolute faith in either of them, but I have more faith in them than probably any other two politicians. And so my estimation of the likelihood that he steps down has dropped precipitously over the last 24 hours or 48 hours. And now I think it's a 20% chance. It's not impossible again, but I was a lot of progressives are depressed at Bernie and AOC, but I'm depressed, but not necessarily for the same reason as them. It's not because I think they love Biden. They're just, they love him so much. I don't think that's why they're doing this. And you can dislike them even for the reasons I think they're doing it. But it does make me think that it's not that likely that he's going to step down.
Look, they're calculating and they are politicians. And I was just going to say, it very much reminds me of like the House of the Dragon, sort of like the dying king. And it's like, I just want to be the last one to whisper in his ear, you know, like Bernie and AOC are just like, so like we can pass like a public option if you get reelected, right? Pass a public option. Like it's very cynical. In some ways it's cynical. So yes, I agree with you. They're playing some kind of game. Who knows? Again, maybe in the afterlife, when Joe Biden is taken by the almighty Lord, we will have Medicare for all. What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/bitchuation room. Do it.